Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Good day to
Happy
y'all.
Wednesday.
Good day to y'all. Good day to y'all. How happy hump day. Happy Wednesday. Happy day. Damn it, we are out here.
Most
How's
definitely.
the weather? Real quick. We got some shit and some stuff to talk about.
Right. So, first things first, please forgive me for sounding like the wife from Family Guy because I've been sick all weekend.
Listen.
And it's finally getting better thanks to our special guest, Special Remedy. But we will get to that in a moment. The weather down here is wonderful. It's 86 degrees right now in Atlanta. 7:30 in
So
the evening.
so Friday, right? And I'm jealous.
Don't be.
Friday it was 43 degrees
Uh-uh.
and we were outside at a wedding singing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you
And
have your scar?
I had my scar. It wasn't enough. I
Yeah.
was unprepared and unqualified. Um, then Sunday, well, after it being 52 degrees on Saturday, Sunday, spring was like, it's my turn. Summer was like, this is what Summer said. Bitch, sit your ass down. You sit your ass down. And it turned into fucking 89 degrees. It went from 50 to
Oh yeah.
89 degrees. The
Y'all wasn't
shop
trying to kill.
was out here. It smelled like basement, balls, and unqualified people that didn't do any spring cleaning. But I was
Hilarious.
here for the shits. I was here for it. And they were unapologetic and they didn't give a good goddamn, and neither did I. Listen, now that we got that out the way, let's talk about some stuff. We have a special conversation.
Yes.
Sorry if it hits home, but we gonna talk
No,
about it.
I'm
We're
not.
all gonna get through it. I, listen, I didn't apologize. I am sad already because I'm gonna have to be honest about some stuff. And some of the stuff that I'm talking about, some folk are on here, and we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna get through it, and we're gonna
Yeah.
process it, and we're gonna learn some lessons, y'all. Some real shit. We're gonna bring
Yeah.
up a guest first, and
Understood.
because she don't even know. Does she know what we about to talk about?
I believe so. I believe so.
Okay.
Yes. We discussed it a little earlier.
We're going to bring it together, and we're just going to dive right into it. And we're going to bring out that big word, and we're going to say it, and we're going to do what we got to do. Let's get into it. We're going to bring this special guest.
First of
She's a
all,
sweetheart. She's a love bug. She's a firecracker.
Hi.
She's one of the very few people that I've immediately met and called friend.
facts.
That is
Facts.
my homie, tried and true, Martine.
Hey.
How are you, Sugarfoot?
I'm good. How are y'all doing?
I'm
Maintaining,
doing
man.
much better. Thank you for my
I'm sorry, I'm
special
at work,
remedy for my
y'all.
cold. It's okay. We appreciate you dropping in for us even while you working hard. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
If
you
I
for
have a
my
little
special
flu.
remedy. Look,
listen,
because it's
if
definitely helping.
anybody, if you want to know a little bit about everything about something, Martinez. You go to Martinez. She know just enough. Like she low key walks on the fine line of a gypsy. She know a little bit about everything about
Mm.
something. Like it is wild. But anyway, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about a conversation. Martinez, are you aware of what this conversation is?
Mm-hmm.
All
That's why
right,
I wanted to make sure I'll be up here for it.
absolutely. We're gonna talk about this
Word.
powerful word and this underappreciated yet one of the most powerful words that is known to man. It's
Hmm.
called forgiveness.
Oh my God.
We are going to talk about forgiveness, y'all.
Why
And
you
not only
cussing
are we
at
going
me?
to, I know, right? Bitch, fuck. It's like, no, we're going to talk about this word. And not only are we going to talk about that word, we're going to talk about our experiences with that word, um, where we are now currently, and where we need to get
Absolutely.
to on some real shit. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be ugly, uncomfortable, but we're gonna be all right. Get some water, you'll
Yep.
be all right. So let's talk
Yes,
about
sir.
what's y'all experiences on forgiveness. Let's talk about it.
Well, before I jump
Let's get
into
right
my
into it.
own experience, let me just say I hope Drake forgives Kendrick for that diss because he killed his life, in my opinion, with a copy and paste at that. Like Drake.
Oh, you want to talk about Drake first? I'm sorry.
I
Let's
mean, it's
backtrack.
all part and parcel because Kendrick didn't have to do Drake like that. He's already light skinned. He didn't have to do him dirty.
I'm sorry. I would say this right here, right now. He did Drake style on him, okay. But y'all have to understand, Drake is one petty ass person. When he come back, Kendrick gonna cry. So Kendrick is gonna be like Quavo. He gonna go shut up and sit down somewhere. I'm telling you, Drake got it. He got it.
I don't know.
Listen, you said Drake got it.
Definitely do. Yeah,
You
Drake got
said
it.
Drake got what? Drake got his ass whooped. Let me tell you something.
No. Listen. Take away the beat. Take away all three of the beats and just listen to the words and you tell me if he really got ghosted. Nah, that's what I did. I listened to it without the beat.
I tried.
I did. I listened to it like 10 times at this point. I've never seen such a thorough response ever. First of all. Second of all, he killed your boy with a copy and paste. Like he basically did a better version of Bigfoot on him. Like, I don't know. I mean, I can't wait to see what Drake come with if he come with something, but he better not pull a Quavo. That's all I do.
Drake gonna come with a.
He ain't gonna pull a Quavo.
Cause I know you need to get done.
Dun dun dun. Facts. But hey, even if he doesn't,
you just need to slow the motion.
I'm done. I'm sorry.
No, you good.
But yeah, Drake, I wish him well.
So I'm a yield because we on different sides of the fence. I love it for hip hop, and hopefully we can keep it all bars and no beef for real, and keep it moving from there. There's not really much rest in peace to Afeni Shakur, and may their family be eased through their grief for the losses that they've endured.
Right.
But other than that, let's dig in. Unless y'all have anything else y'all want to talk about.
So I'm going to start here with a definition, and I'm not going to use the word apology or forgiveness just yet. I'm actually going to pull up two words. I'm going to pull up the word sorry and okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Told you I'm going to fuck with y'all today.
I don't like it when you do stuff like this, sir.
Sorry. Sorry means, by definition, this is coming from the Oxford definition or the Oxford Dictionary, feeling distress, especially through sympathy with someone else's misfortune.
Oh, okay.
Feeling regret or penitence.
Understood.
So let's look up this great word called okay.
That ain't even the word.
I just want to put it out there. I want to put it out there. Like growing up, my father told me, you never say sorry, because sorry means you can't do nothing for yourself. You always apologize, or you just leave it as it is. Don't ever say sorry.
Presh, we're going to get right into that. I got you. This is what okay means. Okay. Used to express assent, agreement, or acceptance. Satisfactory, but not exceptionally or especially good. To be of sound knowledge. We're going to leave that right there. Let's talk about it. What were you saying, Presh, about sorry again?
I always thought that when you say sorry, it means you can't do nothing for yourself.
Right. And I wasn't taught per se, but the response to sorry when I was coming up was, yeah, you is sorry. Like it was never a good thing.
Right. My grandma used to be like, you ain't crying.
That part.
But
and even the tears don't make a difference nowadays because they're crying, lying all at the same damn time.
Can you honestly say that you're holding on to a grudge for longer than a year?
Yes. Hell yeah. I'm speaking for me. Yes, you motherfucking straight I am. Because my thing is, if you wake up in the morning and you chose to maliciously try to hurt me mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, I'm a Sag. All bets is off. Because I don't wake up in the
Right.
morning to try to hurt somebody. I don't wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I'm going to fuck up this person's day.
Sure.
Mistakes happen. Accidents don't take a break. But if you
Mm-hmm.
wake up and be like, yo, I'm going after Jules right now because I don't like this bitch because she's had to. Oh, then we got a problem. Oh, we definitely got a problem. And I like
Yeah.
to finish my problems. I don't start this like 50 Cent said. I don't want no problem. You don't want no problem. But when you tell me it's a problem, I have no problem.
I have no problem. Look,
I
that's
have no
my
problem.
favorite quote from him because it's so true.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is like if you okay, let me take back what I said. Yes and no. Yes, if you maliciously try to hurt me, and then I'm coming for you by every aspect, meaning everything. But if you like is gullible or naive and you didn't mean to, and I come to you and I tell you like you fucked me up, then you show remorse to it, then yeah, we cool. But if you do it the second or third time, then that whole saying "fool me once, shame on you; fool me twice, shame on me; fool me 3 times, you gotta get 6 feet buried." Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know there was a third time to that. I ain't gonna hold you.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
that. Why you think females got Stockholm syndrome or men got PTSD because they let stuff happen to them more than once,
Hmm.
more than
And
twice.
that was
Remember
where
after
I
the
was thinking in the
after the
beginning
third
where you
try
said
become a
the
memory
grudge.
thing.
Like, I don't hold a grudge, but I definitely have held trauma that leads me to non
Mm,
forgiveness. You know what I mean?
mm,
Like
mm-hmm,
I'm not a revenge type person anymore.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Now my more enlightened self, I guess.
mm-hmm,
Definitely not so much a revenge type person anymore, but
mm-hmm,
um, I've definitely held on to things that held me back. And it's funny because I learned from the Sopranos of all things. There was an
hmm.
episode when the uncle who tried to kill Tony Soprano died.
Got
And
you.
then Tony Soprano was just left with all this anger and grudge and revenge in his heart for this man who was no longer there. So he's the one left carrying all this shit while that man done went through Alzheimer's and dementia and some more shit and don't even remember what the fuck he did to you for real. And you walking around with all of this pain and heartache. Like I learned my lesson very shortly thereafter that was not the way to live life. So it was just too
We
much to carry.
we have this ungodly notion, and I get where it comes from. To go into depth with that, we have this ungodly notion is to forgive somebody is to forget the circumstance that happens. And
Mm-mm.
that, in fact, is not the case. So, to Precious's point, and I don't really, that is different how you explain that, Press. But if we're going to try to quantify it
I'm
the
gonna
way
still
you,
be I'm gonna
wait a
still
minute,
be here,
Press,
but I gotta put my phone
got
down.
you,
Okay.
got you.
All right.
So, breaking it down the way she said it, is that holding a grudge or is that keeping a watchful eye?
The
That's keeping a
second
watchful
part.
eye.
No,
You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
I think the second
So,
part is keeping a watchful eye. I think the first part, I'm just being malicious and petty on some real shit. I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
so that's the part that when we understand that we are built in, and I don't ever like to be so religious that none of the shit that I say makes sense. But if we consider ourselves godly, then we
Hmm.
have to honor where the source comes from. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you finally see the person that did you wrong. They're crossing the street.
Hmm.
You run out in the street, and the source and the creator already got their situation lined up. Now, bow. Both of y'all are dealt with the same situation, and that situation was never meant for you.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? That's what unforgiveness does for people. Not to mention um holding on to a place where that person now has this invisible shackle on your neck and you're now having an elephant syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Like you feel like you can't get past something that's so small, and then it continues to divide itself, and so eventually even the slightest thing is going to paralyze you.
Right.
So when do we get to the point as, I guess, culture, society, beings, Where do we get back to the place where I understand that who you are or what issue you got with me is not even with me, it's with you.
Right.
When do we get back to that place and we can say, I accept the apology that you'll never give me?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Well,
When do
one
we
of my
get back to
mom's
that place?
favorite sayings is enough and too much stinks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everybody has to hit rock bottom to get to that place. Like I was just thinking about that
Mm,
earlier. I had to
yeah.
listen to the radio in the car for the first time in years. I'm so sick of hearing about who's sliding on who's smoking who drilling who killing who fucking who.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do we not have anything more to talk about than just the most base desires of our minds? You know what I mean? And then once I hit that point, I just turn the radio off completely. Like, it's not worth it to
Absolutely.
me to continue to feed my soul with death and destruction.
Absolutely.
And I think that with maturity comes that idea, but everybody's learning curve is different.
No, absolutely. And it's wild. And oftentimes I just take a lot of things that just happen with experience and I try to, bring it together to try to make it make sense. But
Mm-hmm.
when you break glass, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you first break it, it's super sharp. Lethal, might I add.
Mm-hmm.
However, what most refiners do is that they take that very piece of glass and then they press it down and they crunch it back up into its original design. They melt it,
Right.
yield it, and they create something new. That
Mm-hmm.
is what's going on with society right now. However, we have so many different people being shaped on so many different ideas that aren't theirs. So as a result, you create a defense that even I can't penetrate.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's not a weapon that I can manifest in my brain that can quantify your hurt. It can't. Like I don't, there's not a weapon I got to combat that.
Right. Right. And it's truly about what a person carries.
Hey, Press, right
I
on
think
time.
right. I think that forgiveness, I know, right? He's her baby. Um, I think that reality is that forgiveness is such a strong word, and people don't
Mm.
realize because it's become cliche now to say it, but it's not for the other person.
Mm-mm.
Um, you have to learn. Honestly, when they say forgiveness is not about the other person, it's about yourself. They're not talking about forgiving them so that you can feel
Mm-hmm.
better. They are
Mm-hmm.
talking about forgiving yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because 9 times out of 10, the anger, the grudge, the hurt that you hold is you being mad at yourself for allowing someone to do you that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
I
yeah.
saw in a video, I was just scrolling through Instagram and I saw in a video, it was a gentleman. Oh, cat, you're pissing me off. Um, Gentleman, he forgave the man that murdered his son.
Oh hell no.
And this is what and it was so impactful. This is why really wanted to share this. It was so impactful. This is what this man said. He said, I'm not mad at you, I'm not angry at you, I'm sad. He said,
Mm,
I'm sad because I didn't know that you were going through so much that I didn't pray for you.
mm,
I didn't know that you were so vulnerable to a demonic presence that you would attack a good man. If I'd have known that, I would have taken my hands and raised you to be a good man like I raised the man you took from me. He said,
uh,
I wish that your suffering could be made peaceful with my presence for the rest of your life. He was like, just know that I forgive you, and the system has to decide that. I mean, even the stenographer wept.
So
That
as
man
I'm doing
stood
right
there
now, hence
stoic.
the glasses, because I do this one, so I have to listen.
That man stood there stoic. He
And
stood
I
there
don't.
very. Go ahead.
I pride myself on the amount of logic that I carry as a female,
Mm-hmm.
as a woman. And yet, the idea of somebody taking one of my children from me is probably the one place where forgiveness could never be reached.
Absolutely.
Um,
I'm sorry. Here.
like, Lord. Okay. So,
Breathe through your moment.
oh
You're all right.
man, yeah, I'm sorry. I think that is awesome for him. I'm not there yet. That's all I can really say. I couldn't even fucking fathom the idea of not. I had a similar conversation. It's funny, with another panelist from Keep It On Wax, and we were talking about these videos going around where the people are asking women, would they rather be left alone in the forest with a bear or a man? And a lot of women are saying the bear, right? And I'm appalled at the idea that women are so unsafe that we can't even say we're unsafe without being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
But there are points in life where you just let things go. I express as a woman who's been raped in her lifetime and molested that those scars are harder to carry in my mind than just dying and being able to move on to whatever the next plane is. And I don't know, I won't say I don't know many men. I will say that I appreciate the men who understand that just by default, we as women are unsafe. And choose to defend us and try to give us a safe space to say that we're unsafe, as opposed to arguing what a bear could possibly do to the woman. Right? And those are the situations where it's like, I just got to let that go. But that in itself isn't forgiveness. It's just forgetfulness.
It's numbness.
And so when you say forgive and not forget, yeah, when you say forgive, not forget, it's a balance of scales of forgiving truly, and then just letting things go. And which is more painful and which is more helpful. So I asked y'all that question.
It's lot of points. There was a lot of points, and I can't. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't have answers. I'm learning this journey called forgiveness. Like
answers, like
I look, like folk be calling and acting like I be knowing shit. I don't be knowing. I listen and I make the things that I hear applicable to the things that I've experienced and the things that I've read and the things that I've. So I have a question. I know through society, of course, what makes you feel unsafe. God knows we know what makes y'all feel unsafe. I will breathe through this moment and I will keep my head down, yield, mute my mic. What is it that will make you feel protected to choose the man over the bear? In the best way that you can. Because I know in your heart of hearts, knowing you for just a short time that I've known you, you would want to choose the man. But I know you choose the bear. Can you explain not why you choose the bear or what we've done so bad I'd like to know what would allow, and I apologize on behalf of the men that has done. You understand? I apologize. They ain't shit that I can even attest to on here. We about to, but how do you feel protected, or how do you feel safer than you would with the bear? And I yield there.
My original answer to that, and my last decade and a half journey through life, has been to hide myself, to just stay in my cove, stay in my hole, stay in my house, stay away from everything and everybody, because nothing is safe, right? And I'm learning that that's not living, that's just existing. And the bottomless pit of existence is not preferable to actual life and the blessing that was given to me by my creator. And so I'm learning to choose to be around people who make me feel safe in a genuine way. And people who don't want anything from me other than my safety and my well-being. That's the best way that I can describe it. But I'm 46. And so if it's taking me a half life to get to this point, imagine what other people are going to. And y'all know I'm all about my statistics and my research during that conversation. And I understand everybody's point about the frequency of when people are around bears and so on and so forth. But I put up some stats just to show the people who were having the conversation how ridiculous they sounded, and they still don't get it. Those are people I wouldn't necessarily be alone with. The stats said that there have been 40 bear attacks towards women in the last year around the world. 40. In America, a woman gets raped every 2 minutes. There's absolutely no comparison when you're telling me that I would have to choose between the man and the bear. None. In one country, that's just rape. That's not murder. That's not mutilation. That's not all the other weird shit that women go through. And I think this is why this is such a heavy topic, because in order for me to live a successful and happy life, I have to forgive every man who ever made a woman feel small, feel scared, feel like nothing, feel dirty. And it's a hard thing to try to envelop that and still live an everyday life. I often jokingly tell people, if you ever get caught up, go to court and, claim PTSD. Because more than likely you'll get away with some therapy.
Right.
But it's tough out here for us women. It's tough. I'm 5'10", almost 300 pounds as a woman. I literally can count on one hand how many women I've fought in my life. And I can say that probably triple, almost quadruple that number for the men that I've had to fight. And y'all wonder why women choose the bear. There are women getting punched in the face for no reason right now in New York, just for walking up the street on their phone. And y'all wonder why they choose the bear. It's not okay.
I have no opinion towards that, only empathy. However, or not even however, I'm just going to put a period there. For the very reasons why you guys would choose the bear, and I say this humorously, but I really mean this, is the reason why a wise man would choose the woman.
Mm.
Because we know deep down inside that she can kill the bear.
Mm-hmm.
Not, I can't speak for past, and whoever is in whatever situation that you're in, and I'm trying not to look dead at the camera because I have, my face kind of
It's okay. It's
provokes.
allergy season.
But
You're okay.
no, it's not even that. It's I have a wrathful face sometimes. But women have a capacity to analyze things and understand that they're not as strong as us. They can normally outthink men, but during adverse situations, they likely can't process the plan through. But a divine woman is you have a very unique gift there where you have both a tool and a weapon. And if you're not careful with that divine thing, like we talked about that glass, it'll begin to mold and shape itself into something different. And that's where we are as men in today's society, where women are something different. And y'all talk like us, and we understand why. Y'all think like us, and again, most men understand why. You move like us. Most men, again, understand why. But when you really sit down and listen, there's a part of that person that does not want to be that person. However, that behavior has become so normal that you'll say you want a provider. Provide what? I can't out provide you at this point. Like, you want a protector. Protect what? But what I've learned is that if you sit down and watch, a lot of times the things that they have aren't for them.
Right.
And if you sit down and really learn that person, they will give a lot of that up.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that hurt or the pain, but they'll give up the idea of the academia. But we're going to get back to forgiveness here. You made an interesting point that forgiveness starts with self, correct?
Correct.
And when you go back to self has to, and we're going to get to some of these comments on IG. They are rocking right now. When you get to self holds on to a lot of stuff. And a lot of times before we even get to experience blessings, we have so much shit in that carriage that there's no room for it. You know what I mean? So that's part of the idea of forgiveness, is to be like, I've been carrying this shit. I've been developed, and I've literally grown flowers and grown weeds and called them flowers.
Mm-hmm. Every single weed has a flower. So let's start there.
So
every single,
and as a beautiful woman would, you will turn you would turn it into life. So what would then a woman be if they operated at their normal baseline? You start with good soil, or you start with a good seed. You may not have everything, but you establish the good things that you have.
Right.
How do we get to that place with our woman?
That's a good question, bro.
Yeah, I mean, like I can apologize for everything I'm gonna do. I'm a nigga. I'm gonna do most nigga stuff aside from any harm or unhealthiness to my life. But most nigga things I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my shoes off and not always put them on the stand. I'm going to leave dishes in the sink for a while before I wash them. It's not going to
I
be
hate y'all.
immediate. It's gonna be a few hours. No, like there's certain things that I'm not going to do instinctively.
Right. Well, see, and this
We're-
is the crux of the conversation for relationship forgiveness is the idea that so many women are single because they have no grace.
Mhm.
They have no forgiveness for small things like that. And it's kind of sad to watch. Like
Yeah.
I remember a friend of mine in the throes of depression because she did not have the family that she wanted. She wasn't married. She didn't have kids. Um, And it's just like, but you've never had to be cheated on. You've never had to be beat. You can get up and
Jeez.
go on a vacation anytime you want. Like what I wouldn't give for your life at this point, we're at the same big age because she's a few months older than me. So, you know, what I wouldn't do to be able to have the freedoms that you have because I
Mhm.
had to give my whole life to other people because those people didn't ask to be here. Um,
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And conversely, it's beautiful you said that. I had just said what I wouldn't do to go back in that small little shell and act like a lot of shit that I experienced never happened.
right. It's
Reality is
easier.
I want to get back to some of these comments that like somebody's been speaking. Troy Lorenz is talking back. She said, in order to choose the man, you would have to forgive every man who has done who has ever done any woman wrong.
Correct.
Mm. We
That
as
is
communal
heavy.
nurture, yeah, I can imagine. I listen. We as communal nurturing beings carry the weight of trauma of our neighbors, of our people. Women aren't choosing to bear because they want to. They do so out of self-preservation. So she says, back to carrying the trauma of others. And Troy
Mm-hmm.
she will speak on how she feel about this. She stated very honestly, very candidly, I hated men long before a man ever hurt me,
Mm.
based off of what I saw the woman of my community go through at the hands of and the ego of a man. Forgiveness is hands down a tool of self-preservation as well. Being introspective, we only hope to walk away and answer how we will never allow this thing to never happen to us again. That right there, we're going to address that. I'm gonna hold that. Not negatively, not positively, but I just want to talk about that. Divine,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still
Yeah.
going. Instead of consistently rationalizing and protecting people who are considering or protecting her. And that was to your last sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she'd also, as most would say, she'd be carefree enough to walk in their power.
Mm.
However, the power what is that power? Can I ask that? I might
M-
disagree with you on this one or agree, but I would love to
Male,
hear what
male,
that power.
male power is logic and physical strength. Look at Helen of Troy. She was so
Sure.
beautiful and such a divine female that she caused men to go to war over her.
Mm-hmm.
AKA chaotic, y'all crazy. Sit y'all ass down. Go click the link and come say something if y'all got something to
Right,
say.
right, right.
Um, but yeah,
We got the
I think that
mic.
y'all.
Hey.
Hey, I think that child's power truly comes in logic, in stressful situations, and in pure physical strength. Our
Mm-hmm.
power is emotional strength, and the
Hmm.
ideas that we can carry more power. Like we're the neck and shoulders, but y'all are definitely the head and fists. And it's not a
Hmm.
whole body without those parts. And
Absolutely.
the kids are the legs and the feet because they keep everything carrying forward.
Mm-hmm.
So That's what I feel like. I would love to be able to walk in the power of a man who has a solid mind in his head and also isn't afraid to physically protect me.
Hmm.
You know, and this is why the conversation of height, money, weight, all of that shit doesn't mean a
Right.
fucking thing. Like, this is,
Nope.
as much as I understood what Kevin Samuels was trying to do, which speak truth to fucking delusion, he did exactly what they do, which is superficialize. I think I just made that up, but he's superficialized.
Hey, the whole damn dictionary is made up words. We're okay.
That's true. Yeah, he superficialized what he thought was important to relationships. When in fact, it can you deal with a nigga who's not gonna immediately wash his dishes by instinct? What if he snores or grinds his teeth in his sleep? Can you deal with a nigga who scrapes the fork with his teeth? It's little shit. Can you deal with a bitch who digs in her nose and eats her boogies when she thinks nobody's looking? This is the shit.
No, right.
You know, can you deal with a chick whose feet stink when she takes the Louboutins off? Like, these are the things that we really have to start mentally preparing ourselves when we're talking about relationships. And the idea of the masculine women that we're talking about so formally now started with welfare. When they told us, we'll pay you to take the men out of the house. So now we have to go out and work in a masculine world, in most fields that are masculine, because even there's a feminine field, like say nursing. Usually the people in power are still masculine. So we have to take on masculine attributes outside of, you know, this idea of being feminine and soft.
Absolutely.
You know,
so let me ask, can I ask you this as a, and hopefully this is not overstepping anything, but well, I do kind of know this though, but I'm asking honestly. Do you leave whatever Negro that you had to make to go outside? Do you leave that at the door when you come in your house?
Yes. Absolutely. Yes, I do. My children have never met the nigga me. Well, once or twice with the older two when they was teenagers, because sometimes you gotta.
Yeah, I get it.
Right.
Right.
No, they hear, "Oh, baby, how was your day? You want the crust off triangles or squares for your peanut butter and jelly?" I'm not doing that for nobody outside this door. What the fuck did you say to me? Nah, fuck you, nigga. What? That's me outside. Inside, it's a whole. It's bipolar at its finest. And then y'all wonder why we're crazy, because we're forced to enact two totally different roles in life, and it has to be a moment's notice. Like, there's literally a 20-minute
She just admitted
movie.
what I've been saying for the past 10 goddamn years. Y'all motherfuckers have been bipolar, goddamn it.
Absolutely.
I don't judge though. I don't judge.
No, it's fine. Yeah, no, I'm it's chestnut checkers. So in order,
fuck both of y'all.
It's about 4 of us in here, but it's okay. So listen,
right.
Every X got 4 points.
Listen, right.
And this section is the core of me, right? But with that being said, like, yes, as much as many people don't choose to admit that women have to be bipolar, and I don't care how femininely you dress at work and how much you flirt with your work husband, those are all still masculine tools in a masculine workplace. And it's disgusting to me, the amount of manipulation in a negative standard that happens in this fucking work world.
You know, and it doesn't make me angry as it used to. It does make me sad though. Again, because the very same thing that probably in that moment of vulnerability that you've been probably screaming for. Number one, I've lived my journey, lived my life, but
Mhm.
I am now becoming to be for someone.
Yeah.
And of course, for my children, that's bar none. But
Yeah.
we're talking about just ideas of self, and that self contributes to friendships and partnerships and relationships, etc. Again, the one thing that I personally have an issue with is that I don't have much peace. Like once you disturb that, it is hard to get me back in the same frequency with you. I will forgive you, but bless your journey. There was a woman, and I told you I was gonna bring this up. What time is it? Oh, we got
Mhm.
plenty of time. We got till 9.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
There was a young woman, and God, I met her. Oh, I was running track, and it was my mother's friend's daughter,
Okay.
and
Sounds like an arranged
we
marriage, but go ahead.
it was almost arranged. But
Yeah,
she
gotta
was
see.
she was a cute Joan. Find it a whole got her whole joint together. I mean, got 401k, got her stuff together. I mean, is the proof that y'all make more money than us. You
Right.
know what I mean? But
Facts.
and not only that, but it was just like always very attentive, very available. But here was the nigga side.
Mm.
Good bruv, good bruv. He was a nigga side, and this is the side that I forgave her, and I just had to tell her this today. I forgive you, but we are not able to be friends.
Mm. You better
We
sing that,
are
Deborah Cox and
not.
RL.
We can't be friends.
No, no, no,
Cause you got me
no.
fucked up.
No, and it's not that I was angry at her, and I had to be honest. I said, I had to really understand the value not of a man's vulnerability, but my own.
Mhm. Right.
And when I become vulnerable and I begin to trust you, then I am listening to the things that you say, and I'm listening to the things that you don't say. I'm watching
Mm.
everything. And if you are able to disconnect and disappear from me,
Mhm.
you meant to.
Absolutely.
And there's no reason. And some people I will give grace to being based on their experiences. But if you intentionally disconnect from me from a period of time, you will get the God bless your journey. And that is what
Mm.
I've learned to capsulize, my forgiveness.
Right.
Y'all have been wondering where God bless your journey came from. God bless your journey came from the there's a scripture, and again, I'm not one of those religious folk, but there's a scripture that says, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I acted as a
Mhm.
child, I behaved and I played as a child, but when I became a man, I put away those childish things. That doesn't mean
Mhm.
that I burnt and singed those things.
Mhm.
I
I need to be very clear. Y'all motherfuckers got me fucked up.
those mu-
Mhm.
they're literally right in my closet.
Right. I
You know
throw
what
them
I
away.
mean? And they're not tucked away anywhere.
Right.
They're literally right in my. I'm for the shits oftentimes, more
Mhm.
often than people probably think. So if I gotta sit there and give you the two dumb blinks, understand that this is what's happening. This is what God bless your journey means. That means that I have taken this moment to put me against me,
Mm.
and we are now at full fucking fledged war here.
Mhm.
And one of us has won. And they're making their way to you.
Mm. Making their
And
way downtown.
God has literally put everything in himself, dropped his house right in front of you, and I had to meet him and let him know what I intended to do to you.
I got you.
And at that point, I have to be reminded that we're human here.
Every day.
So as a result, my exchange is my own suffering. And I have to say, God bless your journey. Because I can't even think about you at that time. Because if anything happens, it'll make me feel some way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't enough, or it should have been. No, I have to depart from you completely. Bless your journey. You don't get another sniff of feeling from this embodiment. You don't get it.
Right.
I'm talking a void. But I'm never going to disrespect you.
Beautiful, because that's
that
where
part.
it all
I'm not going to disrespect you.
My mom commented
or
that
should
both
I say
men and
my
women,
first priority wouldn't be. Sorry.
Right. No, you're fine. Your intention is never to disrespect, and I appreciate that. My mom posted both men and women have been used and abused, and it's very true.
Facts.
People's intentions are often horrible. And so God bless your journey is a great way to view life in the sense of forgiveness and letting go. Sadly, though, the majority of women who believe in societal standard of what the home is supposed to look like and the relationship is supposed to be don't get to leave like that. They stay for kids. They stay for the household. They stay because they're scared to do it on their own. They want their kids to have a 2-parent household. They stay because of the shame that would come upon them through family if they chose to leave and be on their own, or through religion, or through friendships, et cetera, et cetera. And so the idea that I think you said her name was Troy Loren brought forth is this idea of having to forgive every man who didn't even recognize that his wife was suffering in silence for the sake of everybody else in the house. You know, it's not always so simple to speak about feminine and masculine when it comes to us so-called human beings, right? And forgiveness is definitely one of those topics. I saw a great analogy a long time ago, and I wish I could find this picture, but it was a hand with a rope wrapped around it, like it was pulling a rope. And it said, you know, the rope was useful, but if you never let go, eventually it's cutting into your hand and you're doing more damage than if you would have just let the rope go and kept it moving, regardless of whether you pulled the object out of the mire. Sometimes you just have to let go in order to be okay within yourself. So God bless your journey is a great way to tell niggas to kick fucking rocks and get the fuck on.
Listen.
Yeah, it's
one
very,
of them. It's one of them. You lucky you not
so.
Dead. It's one of them. You lucky you not dead. I'm trying to tell you, you lucky you not dead right now.
Yeah. It took me all these years to quit smoking cigarettes, and my excuse would be, do you know how many people are alive at this point because of the Newport? You see what I'm saying? Like, do you know how many times I've saved myself from jail being able to go off to the side and smoke a cigarette, just because there are so many aspects of life where, as a woman, you're not expected to react in a masculine manner. And yet some people need their ass whooped like their parents didn't do. So, and this is such a simple thing, but I was so pissed off. I was out with my parents. I was out with my parents when they visited in April after my son graduated. We're at the fucking grocery store, and this old lady, right? She had to be in her 60s at the youngest. Okay, she's in the line next to where we were. She sees us pulling up to the line number 2. Basically, she's in 1. We're pulling up to 2. She literally almost runs my mom down with her car to get in front of us because number 2 was moving faster than the line that she was in. So another manager saw what she did and called us, went open number 4 and called us over to number 4. Then the bitch backed up, almost hit me, and then damn near ran my dad down trying to get to number 4. Talking about, no, they talking to me. So I looked her square in the back of her head and said, now, if I punch that bitch in her throat, I'm wrong for elderly abuse, right? And everybody's like, oh no, forgiveness is key. And And I said, no, her mama forgot to whoop her ass when she was little. Somebody need to do it now. That bitch is wrong. And all the cashiers was laughing at me, waiting for me to punch this old bitch in the face. This is the life I live because you're in my world. As much issues as I might have, and we all have with our parents, right?
Sure.
You can't fucking run my mom over with no fucking grocery card and not expect me to whoop your ass. Like,
no, absolutely not. You know, and there's actually a part in the Quran that speaks on that. It speaks on retribution. And my homie Saint is right there. There is a thing called equal retribution. Eye for an eye.
yeah,
However,
I fucked the back of her heels up with my car.
No, and nobody's saying fuck the back. It's so I'm always going to tell this story about my homie Saint. Saint right here is 6'4". When I met him, he was about 320.
Okay.
I don't know what beef we had in that moment, but we were on some real, like, you came over here, I came to see about you, and we looked each other in the face, and we realized that there would be way too much damage on both of our parts to allow this to be recreational. That grown-ass man stuck his hand out, and I stuck my hand out, and we gave each other a hug.
Right.
Sometimes, if you are paying attention, it'll spare your life. Because had I have just gone through with that, man would have shattered my shit. I'm not going to lie to you.
So as a fighter, as a person who's been clinically diagnosed without a flight button, so to speak.
Sure.
What do you do in a world where motherfuckers is too busy trying to get niggas to pay for them? Meaning they not paying attention to nothing other than who can pay for them.
You pay attention to those that can pay attention.
Yeah, I'm sick of them too.
Then pay attention to another set of people. There are 8 now, about 8.2 roughly.
Let me hit
to the capacity, give or take.
Let me hitch myself up.
You know what I mean? That are actually out in this world.
Kissing these dogs, my nigga.
You don't have to. So again, a lot of times in the society that we live in, you're going to have to do some structural compounds to a man. There's going to be something that you're going to have to do. And so guess what? No, Kristen. So here's some equity for you. You ready? There are some things that we got to do. We gotta be soft and be in a soft, gentle tone. Not to say that we want to, but I have to be gentle with you. There are times when I gotta go outside and squeeze my steering wheel. If I had one, squeeze that motherfucker like I was squeezing your neck. And I gotta come inside and kiss you on the forehead. Now, understand the level of disrespect, not you, but a you, on a worse day has offended me and disrespected me far greater than I would allow any nigga. I wouldn't let a nigga rattle off 3 words to me, let alone hear your diatribe and fucking negative dissertation about what you think I am. And I have to go outside, squeeze that muff. I'm talking, I got to figure it out and come back and remind you to be gentle. that we can get through this. I gotta remind you when I'm ready to step the fuck up out, I gotta plant my 10 toes down and make sure that I'm not only immovable, but I'm also fluid. I gotta don't act like y'all the only motherfuckers that gotta sacrifice. But the reality is nobody sits down and has these conversations about what we equitably sacrifice and surrender in order to get what is designed for us.
Right. Right.
So here's the other part to this, and this is a really interesting part. We use this word okay a lot.
I hate it.
I love
It's
it.
like nice. It's
I
like
allow
nice.
once you and there's some I'm walking on with this fucking toothbrush. I was brushing my clippers, but so there are times where do you believe? Let's start here. Do you believe that people just are who they are?
No.
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 Okay.
People are an amalgam of events and their reaction
Absolutely.
to those events. Yes.
So in essence, okay, I'm following you. So in essence, their presentation to you, you recognize that presentation is what they thought best to suit you, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You saw what I had to do. I had to wrap around.
Yeah.
I forgot who I was talking to, Saint.
Mm-hmm.
He said, no, listen, you would enjoy this conversation, Saint. This is a good one. So
Send them the link.
with that logic, right?
Yeah.
Once you find that person has given you the best that they have to offer, and it is far from what it is that you both desire, want, and need, okay. You now have knowledge, and that is what okay means. Okay.
No.
Go ahead.
No, it's not okay. See, here's the thing. Okay. So once I give it, because I give up.
That doesn't make it acceptable, though. That does not make it acceptable.
Okay, it's get the fuck on. It's see you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile, peace, deuces, and fuck you. Like you're not wasting. Like
that was my last part.
Yeah,
that was my last part. We use the word okay very loosely, and then we invest our time with the thing that we said okay to.
Ain't that the fucking truth? Right? Look, so stop looking behind you. Ain't nobody back there. Goddamn it.
Listen. So if we understand that the word okay is actually an acronym of two separate words, it means that, Latin, I understand, or of knowledge. I get it. This is what it is. This is what you have. Okay.
That has become the epitome of
what you decide to do with that thing. If you decide to sit there and entertain that thing all the more, then you are, like Saint said, you are what you become. So if you entertain that thing is now planting seeds. And that thing is starting to grow.
I said he's wrong, but I understand his meaning.
So
because
the
life
are
technically dead, and everything you do in between is the journey.
Right.
If that's the case.
Right.
So if you are what you become, then you're dead. And so why bother?
I mean, in the time that we have of life, wouldn't you want to live it in the way that is pleasing to you? I mean, I don't want to get so here's the thing. I don't ever want to get
cereal before, right?
Sure.
How many times have you gotten a QU on the same spoon? Like shit don't work out like that. Don't nobody actually be born into the life that they're given. We take the cards we're handed in the fucking game. And some of us get handed a fucking draw 4 and a reverse and a skip and numbers, all fucking face cards. And some of us get handed the one. We still got to make it fucking work.
Absolutely. That doesn't mean you got to be angry at everybody as a result.
Shit.
that's the other part to it. Some things, like you said, they are what they are.
I understand that most of the people with melanin tend to coat their pain in anger where they
Hmm.
shouldn't, but there's some righteous there's some people around righteously angry because they didn't do anything to anybody to deserve the shit that they received. And that's not a victim mentality. That's just
No,
what life
you're
is.
right.
There are children born to addicted parents and shit like that. Like there's real reasons out here to be angry. This fake
Hmm.
anger that everybody's showing in this fucking bravado and machismo that everybody wants to fucking put off as righteous is bullshit. So let's keep it a buck. Like no, should you walk around angry all day? No. Do most of us? Absolutely. I probably was angry from the time I turned
Woo.
15 till at least a decade later. At least every day of my life. Every day.
Ooh.
Like,
So Isaiah
fuck.
just said if we consider divination, excuse me, we did choose to be born into the lives and times.
Yeah, but we
He's
didn't
talking.
remember that choice, nigga. We just got here once we was here. So fuck you too, Isaiah. Just because your name is biblical, you can't say that shit. Like,
Yo,
here's the thing. Everybody, no disrespect, Isaiah. I don't even know you. Let me make sure he understands that I'm playing because he don't know
you
me
know,
like that.
he just said
But
oppression makes the righteous man mad.
it certainly
He-
does.
he's a
It
dick.
certainly does.
But
Um,
one of the beautiful things is if
I
you
had a
look at
button
this
that said
set,
that.
he said whenever you're ready. He but one of the beautiful things is that the outcome and the results of seeing a woman, and I can thankfully say that most of the women who I consider friend in their own way are a step below their divine place.
Right.
But when I tell you that step
Is
is like,
y'all? Go ahead.
no, we're not blaming or faulting. It's a void, and each one is different. But I'm talking about it is a deep, dark void. It is deep, dark void. Like,
I done.
What the fuck is down here?
like
Do you really want to know? Because most
no,
niggas will go crazy.
I mean that's a conversation for another day. But the
Yeah,
reality is
absolutely.
um most of us have felt that or filled that void with barbed wire and 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 trap doors, and therein lies most of the femininity that you're desiring to be. So in most times you have to be in times where you're just operationally behaving, you do have to be reminded, lower your tone and drop your shoulders when you're talking to me. Like if I'm sitting down
Why
and
though?
why? It's
Yeah.
because you are now provoking me.
No, I'm not. Because see,
And
this is
I
where it
and
all goes down.
so
Because
here I'm listening. Go ahead.
no, because no matter how loud I get, no matter, you know, on an off day, if you sick and I catch you sleeping, I might could catch you with one good hook that knock you out. Maybe.
Sure.
But no matter how high my shoulders is, no matter how high my tone goes, I
Hmm.
can't whoop your ass.
Right.
And so and therefore, why is it a provocation?
So let me
Like,
ask you, can I ask you a question in fairness?
mhm,
If I were to stand over you with my fingers in your face, talking to you or talking at you, not to you,
mhm,
in a tone that was not palatable for you,
mhm.
how would you respond? Or what would be your feelings? I'm listening.
I would draw into myself and I would feel threatened.
Thank you.
And
Our
nine
how
times out of
we
10, I wouldn't hear a word you said.
thank you.
Mhm.
Your ab so how we project it as men is going to look different on how you're projected as a woman. The way you would accept that is likely you would internalize first and then develop a mechanism to lash out. that would
So,
counter
okay,
what I'm already doing. But what
I
you're
appreciate you.
doing, right? So what you're doing is naturally what I do, and I've had to put into my closet.
Mm,
You see what I'm saying?
mm,
So now, if you want me to go into that closet, then understand that what we've built is now going to be destroyed.
right.
Or
Well,
we can take a moment and you can understand that I am protector, am I not? And sometimes I have to protect you from you, because you may not know
I
that
hate it when
you
you fuck
are,
say that shit.
no, seriously, you may not know that you are putting me in a sensitive spot to where I can no longer operate in a safe space,
I hate it
which
when
is
you
now
fucking
going
say
to
that
cause
shit.
you to flee. So sometimes it sucks to stop and take a breath.
Respectfully, it's
Go ahead.
disrespectful,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's not provocation. I'll put it like that. Like I feel as though
Hmm.
it's not necessarily even disrespectful, but it's a disregard of another human standing in front of you.
Sure.
But it's not necessarily provocation. Like I never put my hands on you. I never did anything to make you feel like you have to protect yourself. And
No,
we had
absolutely.
a conversation today about you and not being responsible for other people's triggers. So me personally, this girl right here, I come from a loud family. And when
Sure.
I say that, I mean that I've been told that I should do theater my whole life because my voice naturally carries. I know,
Sure.
sir. My mic is over from me, and y'all can still hear me clearly because my voice naturally fucking
Mm,
carries, right? Um, and so yeah, that's been when I'm passionate, that's even more so. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna
sure.
get a little more loud and a little more
No,
animated because I'm passionate about something.
absolutely.
And it
Absolutely.
depends on the relationship for the person who I'm speaking to understand that that's not me coming at you. It's just me expressing this is what I do, and it may
So
look like a flurry.
absolutely. But again, that also becomes kind of like you say you hate so much, it becomes hypocritical because you're not going to allow me to do the same thing.
I am.
You see? No, because you said that
I
you'd feel
personally.
threat.
I personally.
You
Well, no,
said
and again, it depends on the relationship. So if you
so it's not
remember
so for
the
me,
conversation that started our
mm,
friendship, William,
mm,
I asked the question. I said, would this certain person have been allowed to speak to me in the tone and manner if we were all
mm,
sitting in the same room? Do you remember that conversation?
absolutely do.
Right. And so,
And
and therefore,
what?
it depends on the
No,
relationship.
we gotta finish that one. You can't just throw the question out there and not finish the answer.
Flag on the
The whole
play. My
question,
fault. Go
the
ahead.
answer, right? The question that you presented, and that the thing was that is that would I allow it? That's
Mm-hmm.
the thing. I, knowing you, would not allow that to happen. So it would behoove any person, if you can watch me peacefully in what would perceive as peacefully, with the language of two people ready to kill each other, it would behoove you to take a little bit of a note as to how things can be conditioned and be wrested back into your favor, into what you call your power.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm
But see, this
saying,
is this is
so
also
no,
where it all falls down to me. Go ahead.
I was almost done. So
My
if you're
fault.
asking me and if you're requesting of me to be able to understand and hear you, then you have a, again, divine responsibility to go back to what you said was powerful, which is that gentle, peaceful, pleasant spirit, so that when you do become, you can be diluted or digressed or dissolved back into your natural baseline state, not this behavior that we've adopted.
Mm-hmm.
That's my argument or my point. So it's not necessarily anyone's fault or anyone's blame here. is that when you're saying that we have a responsibility, yes, we all have a responsibility. I've watched a giant have to become a mouse in order to function in his home so that he can grow back into the gentle giant that he is now.
Right.
There's a part that you have to play as well. Sometimes you got to pour out your cup of bullshit and notice that a lot of that bullshit that you had did protect you to this point, but it will not carry you any further. If you want better for yourself, then you have to do better for yourself. And that means challenging that area of your masculinity and usurping your power of femininity. That is the ultimate sacrifice of forgiveness. I'm going to be what you're not expecting me to be because you want me to punch you in the fucking mouth.
Oh my God!
You literally
punch him in the mouth.
You literally want me to baptize you in a dry pool. That's what you want me to do. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk away. And here's the beauty of this. The less time you waste, the less forgiveness you got to carry. My presence, and here's the beauty in all this. And I told you we're going to wrap this up. We did good. We're going to try to edit some of this shit. But
absolutely,
the beauty and saying now you listen, he talking about you don't know me. The beauty in all this is that we get to recognize how divine we are, because we get to, if you decide to turn around, you get to watch a motherfucker go mad, go crazy over the thing that they thought they had and has now evolved into something beautiful.
Right. I would love to tell a story. I would love to tell a story.
Go ahead.
Quickly, because we're running out of time. But one Mother's Day, my mother had my kids as a gift to me. She wanted to spend time with her grandkids, and I needed a day off, right? This nigga provoked me to the point where I chased him around the joint with a hammer, put holes in the walls because I kept missing his head. Like, and then when I couldn't fucking hit him with the hammer, I just broke down and started rocking and screaming. Like, this was the height of my mental illness at that point. Like, I ended up actually having to go into a hospital a couple days later. Like, it was bad. But he called my mom after I was just non-responsive and made it seem like I had just flipped. And I don't remember my mom showing up with I don't remember. She left my kids with my stepdad. She came. She said she got there. She seen me. I was a wreck. I'm crying. I'm screaming. I'm rocking. And all she could do was lay hands on me and pray because she thought a demon had taken over my body. And all I can remember is coming kind of out of whatever I was in and saying, y'all don't know what he do. Y'all don't know what he do. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody always looks at me because I don't give a fuck. I'll fight you. And I understand that sentiment, saying I really do, because niggas really don't know me. You know what I'm saying? And so the question I was going to ask when you were saying what you were saying before and why that story came to mind is, why is it always that we as the women are the ones that have to be sat down and retrained how to deal with y'all if we're not unsafe?
Well, because we got to deal with us. That's number one.
But y'all aren't dealing with us if you're constantly retraining the women. Y'all aren't dealing with the men. Y'all are not checking the niggas in the moment when these things are happening, which was, if you remember, started a whole controversy between me, you, and somebody else. Because it's like, in the moment, all the men was doing this.
Okay. So we're going to bring up we're going to bring up this person, and we're going to name him.
Him. Just say him.
Nah, we're not going to say him.
Real.
We're going to name him Mark.
Because he.
So once Mark actually understood and felt what the reality was, and you played the role that you were supposed to play and allowed him to think, how is he treating you now?
Are we cool?
Right.
We cool. And it's not that he's treating me any differently, though.
Oh no, it's not.
just that
He wasn't
I'm
never
reacting differently. He was
right.
never treating me any kind of way because I don't mean anything to Mark. And
Right.
so,
And as a result, and this my point to that is just as a result, he had to change his beat. Not he wasn't treating you like in a malicious way. He had to literally, as a married man, readjust his behavior to accommodate you. Because if you're not cutting him off, he had to stop and think, why am I cutting her off? Who is this person that is allowing me to play the fool right now? And he had to look your name up and find out who you was connected to. And then as a result, let me humble myself and act like I got some fucking sense.
be humble.
That is the divine power of women. However, it was covered because a loud man at some point decided to beat the most important woman at a very crucial time. And they called it victory. But what we have to do now is understand that there was no victory in that. And we have to, again, come back to y'all and say, we need y'all to do what y'all was doing again, because we are out here fuck struggling. You were right.
We can't do what we was doing until y'all fucking get it together.
Let's start here. Let's start here, Kristen. You were right. Y'all been right. Y'all are right. Y'all all right. Y'all listen. All right.
Y'all, somebody screen record that shit. Say it again.
Listen, it's one of those things that we have to have a conversation about. It's not that it's far gone knowledge here. You can look on my Instagram right now, and I tagged you, and see that I'm not losing my shit here.
No, you're not.
At the same point, there's a lot of women, a lot of people in society that think that our power is the only power. And our power is very, very, very finite. We only got about this much time to operate in what delectable power you think we got. We don't have that much time. That's why in our prime we enjoy it. Y'all's, it goes almost everlasting, and we have to relearn that so that we can build our legacy.
It grows with time.
You see what I'm saying?
And y'all's diminishes, yeah. But so I appreciate for you for admitting that, because a lot of men don't have the balls to say there's something to what y'all are saying for real.
Yeah. At the same point, there is also, as a man, a responsibility that you have to have. No, you looking cute ain't gonna win nothing. That some people might like that BBL, but I don't know what you're competing for once you get it. Like,
all I'm gonna say to you women who are thinking about getting a BBL, and this is gonna be my last call, and Chestnut Checkers will be about to shut it down. I'm gonna leave it to William to close this evening. But to all you ladies trying to get a BBL, those niggas that like you after wasn't there while it was draining, wasn't there while you was bleeding, wasn't there for the infection. They wasn't there for none of that. They're just there to squeeze the after effects and fuck up the shape. So please remember that.
You just straight shut that shit up. That's it.
Hey,
listen,
it's Chestnut Checkers, bro. Like, I'm out here trying to get real solutions. People are so focused on the superficial, and Kevin Samuels is proof of that. May God rest his evil soul. Listen, I promise you that there is more to this life than how people look, how much money they make, how many kids they may have had before they met you. There's so much more to what this life is about. Interaction, real interaction, is so much more meaningful than anything ever discussed on Kevin Samuels. And so if we're not about solutions, you are the problem.
Listen, y'all, told y'all we was going to talk about some shit today. At the end of the day, we have a divine responsibility to treat our neighbors with kindness and with love, compassion, and let them know where the boundary stands. And if you can't do that, you owe yourself an apology. You owe yourself forgiveness. You don't owe yourself a sorry. You owe yourself an okay. Understand that that's where you are. Now you can go somewhere. Do better. But understand, stop holding these grudges. Live your life. Be blessed, y'all. This is chess, not checkers. We got Kristen Rare Sense Wilson out here. I'm trying not to get choked up reflecting on all this shit. I am William Alexander, aka Scarf Boy, aka Church Boy, aka everybody's therapist.
Scarby the Martian.
I just scarving the mark. Listen, I'm out here having a good time living life. I pray that you guys are too.
Amen,
Enjoy your
mommy.
bless.
Good night.